Have you heard about the worst nuclear accident in our history? It's Chernobyl accident. Chernobyl was a terrible and environmental tragedy. More than 30 people lost their lives in the immediate after the accident, and over 350,000 people were displaced from their homes. They were told this was temporary, but until now, it's still forbidden for them to return. Levels of radiation released was so severe that some animals or even plants were killed in the first few days. April 26, 1986. Ukraine, Soviet Union. The whole thing began with a safety test to ensure that reactor 4 is ready to work. And the first time they tried, they failed. And the second time they tried, they failed. And the third, they failed. And the fourth, it was April 26, 1986. To understand what happened that night, we have to go back 10 hours earlier. April 25, the day that the test was meant to take place. By 12 afternoon, the reactor is lowered by half and is ready to be reduced to the final output. But before they can proceed, there was a phone call. Power grid officials in Kiev say that they cannot afford further reduction in electricity until after midnight. They were asked for 10 hours delay. This was the first critical moment, the first link in the chain of disasters, and Chernobyl officials, they allowed to proceed. But why this delay was so dangerous? It created two problems. The first is scientific in nature, and the second is very human. And this one I will consider first. At midnight, there was a shift change. A young engineer has been told that he is the official in the process of reducing the power. And this was his first time to do that. I want you to think about that engineer. I want you to imagine that he had told nothing about his mission into the space until the moment that he was on the launcher. I want you to imagine that all he had was a list of instructions that he had never seen before. The operator responsible for controlling and stabilizing the reactors at night was all of 25 years old. And his total experience in the job, 4 months. This is the human problem created by the delay. But inside the reactor core, in the space between the atoms themselves, something far more dangerous was forming. It's 28 past midnight. In less than 1 hour, the reactor will explode. If you don't understand how a nuclear reactor will lead to explosion, I don't blame you. After all, you don't work in the control room of a nuclear power plant. But as it turned out, the men who didn't understand it either. This is because the big factor behind this accident was the unusual and poor design of Chernobyl Reactor 4. And the Soviet Union was responsible for that, because they didn't even tell the workers about that fault in the design. This is how the worst nuclear disaster in our history happened. Lies. We are in dangerous ground right now, because of our secrets and our lies that practically what define us. When the truth is bad, we lie and lie until we can no longer remember it is even there. But it is there. So please, even the truth is very bad, just say it anyway. Every lie we tell causes a debt to the truth. Sooner or later, that debt is paid. After the explosion, there was a dramatic spike in cancer rates across Ukraine and Belarus. And the highest percentage was among children. We will never know the actual human cost of Chernobyl. Most estimates ranges from 4,000 to 93,000 deaths. That was in memory for all who suffered and sacrificed.